Caitlin Clark gets tons of love from Chicago fans in front of Angel Reese. Caitlin Clark has become one of the faces of the WNBA, as the Indiana Fever All-Star guard continues to be an inspiration for younger basketball players. The former Iowa Hawkeyes standout draws huge ovations and crowds every time her team suits up for a game. Whether at home or on the road, it was no surprise when Clark finished with a record 1,293,526 fan votes to become an All-Star captain. The game, which was played at Gainbridge Fieldhouse, Indianapolis, helped Caitlin to cement her figure as an ambassador for the Fever and women's basketball as a whole. Caitlin Clark gets tons of love from Chicago fans. Despite being out with an injury to her right groin for the Indiana Fever vs. Chicago Sky game this Sunday, Caitlin Clark spent 20 minutes signing autographs to hundreds of fans from all ages who wanted a piece of the All-Star guard. According to reporter Keelan Mills, Caitlin made her way around two-thirds of the arena. At one point, security staff tried to shuffle her into the tunnel, but she kept going. This gesture goes to show why Clark, and not Angel Reese, is the face of the WNBA and one of the most likable players around the country. Meanwhile, Chicago star forward Reese was originally questionable with a back injury, but later was ruled out of the game. This is the second straight game Angel has been out, as she also missed Chicago's game against Seattle on Thursday. Fever beats the Sky on the road. The Indiana Fever, 14-12, defeated the Chicago Sky, 93-78, at the United Center on Sunday. The Fever were led by a season-high 35 points from Kelsey Mitchell, a career-high 14 points from rookie Michaela Timpson, while Chloe Bibby scored 8 points in her Indiana debut. The Indiana Fever came out of the gate swinging, leading the Sky 26-13 after the first quarter, backed by 13 points from Kelsey Mitchell, including 3 three-pointers from the guard. As for Caitlin Clark, there is no timetable available for her return following a July 15th injury to her right groin. The All-Star underwent further medical evaluations earlier this week. The team can confirm that no additional injuries or damage were discovered through the evaluations. The lights at Wintrust Arena were bright, the crowd buzzing with anticipation. It was a summer evening that promised heat not just outside in the Chicago sun, but inside the arena, where two of the WNBA's most talked-about rookies were set to clash again, Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. But this time, something unexpected happened. It wasn't just a showdown between two rising stars. It was a love letter from Chicago to Caitlin Clark. The cheers heard around the league. From the moment Caitlin Clark stepped onto the court for pre-game warm-ups, something was different. A wave of cheers erupted, louder than most visiting players ever receive in enemy territory. "CETLIN, CETLIN," echoed from the upper decks, a chant that grew louder as she drained threes in warm-up after warm-up. Angel Reese, standing just beyond half-court, stretched quietly, occasionally glancing at the noise with a tight-lipped smile. The Chicago Sky faithful had never been short on love for their own players, but tonight it was clear Clark had stolen a piece of their hearts. And not everyone saw it coming. A rivalry of respect and reactions. Much has been made of the rivalry between Clark and Reese, traced back to the now legendary 2023 NCAA Championship game, where Reese's "You Can't See Me" gesture sparked headlines and heated opinions. Since then, the narrative has been painted with bold strokes: fire versus finesse, power versus precision, Reese versus Clark. But in reality, both women have always said they respect each other. Still, rivalries don't need resentment to be real. They just need moments. And this night in Chicago was one of them. Because when Caitlin Clark's name was announced during starting lineups, the arena shook. A standing ovation for the visitor. Reese, who'd grown used to being the crowd favorite, tightened her ponytail and jogged to the bench, masking any flicker of surprise behind a grin. Star power transcends borders. Clark, now a few months into her WNBA journey, has faced everything from hard fouls to hard criticism. Yet she's handled it with grace and grit. And somehow, even in cities that once booed her in college, she's now being embraced. In Chicago, it was full-blown affection. Fans wore homemade Clark County shirts. Young girls waved, "I drove 200 miles to see Caitlin" signs. Even a group of teenage boys held up a banner that read, "Caitlin, the real Windy City assassin." When she hit her first three over Reese's outstretched arm, the crowd erupted. And Reese? She just laughed. "That's what she does," she said post-game, not with bitterness but honesty. "You let her shoot like that, and she'll embarrass you." It wasn't a shot at Clark. It was a nod to greatness. The moment that froze the arena. In the third quarter, with the Fever clinging to a narrow lead and Reese trying to spark a run, Clark intercepted a lazy pass and sprinted up the court. Reese was the only one back. It was the showdown everyone had come to see. Two rookies, face to face, speed versus strength. Clark faked right, cut left, and launched into a high-arcing layup just as Reese lunged to block. Swish. And the foul. The arena froze, and then exploded. Fever fans jumped. Sky fans, many of them joined in. Clark fell to the ground, grinning as teammates rushed to help her up. Reese extended a hand, pulling her rival off the floor with a smirk. "You got that one," she mouthed. The mutual respect was undeniable. After the buzzer, nothing but love. The Fever won in a thriller, 91-87, with Clark finishing with 24 points, 9 assists, and 5 rebounds. Reese posted a double-double of her own, 12 points and 13 boards, but the spotlight remained fixed on Clark. But instead of bitterness, Reese stood back and watched her opponent soak it in. A young girl ran to the sideline after the game, holding a Caitlin Clark jersey and a marker. Security started to push her back, but it was Reese who waved them off. "She's for Clark," Reese said with a shrug. "Let her through." Clark noticed, smiled, and signed the jersey with a wave. "Chicago showed out," Clark said later in the tunnel. "It's humbling. I just want to keep showing up for these fans, even if it's not my city." Angel Reese, walking behind her, shouted, "Next time, they better show up for me, too." Everyone laughed, including Clark. A shift in the air. That night in Chicago wasn't just about stats or scoreboards. It was about the evolution of women's basketball. It was about star power, fandom, respect, and the realization that in today's WNBA, you can love both Clark and Reese at the same time. Because it's not about rivalry or choosing sides anymore. It's about witnessing greatness and recognizing it even when it wears the opponent's jersey. And in front of Angel Reese, in the heart of her team's city, Caitlin Clark got all the love in the world and earned every second of it.